Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard, Agravain, Gold Paladin standard deck profile for post the Mysterious Fortune. With the release of the Mysterious Fortune, we actually got new support for a whole new Gold Paladin deck that didn't focus on Blondezel for any of its plays, which I think is a change a lot of people wanted for the Gold Paladin deck as a whole for a standard format. Just being able to build something that you didn't have to focus on Blondezel for any of the builds you wanted to go for. It's a very different build. Knight of Fury Agravain makes it so your opponent can't call any special triggers with its ability. And then also just having consistency for this skill is very, very useful as well for the card as a whole. So very, very happy with the results of the deck. It is missing a few cards. This is my buddy Jim's deck, who he let me borrow what he has built up for the deck so far. Not looking to build it myself, but I am going to try my best to help him complete the deck slowly but surely. But I'll show what cards I would take out for what's missing as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the grade 3s, obviously as your main card, I want to run 4 Knight of Fury Agravain. I just have 2 Battlefield Storm Sagramore in here for now to fill in the spot just because it's a generic grade 3. On Vanguard, when it attacks, counterblast 1, put all of your rear guards into your soul. Look at the same number of cards on the top of your deck and as the number of rear guards you called this turn. Call any number among them to rear and shuffle this deck. So with it, you put all your rear guards. It builds up for the main purpose of Agravain, which is its Soul Blast ability. You guys enact on Vanguard Soul Blast 12. Until the end of this fight, your opponent can only call normal units. So they're not able to call any kind of special units, restricting them. For that ability is very, very useful, especially it shuts down tokens, you name it. Stuff that would just really benefit them in the long run, especially if they're going for a deck with a special ability of the sorts. And Agravain completely shuts that down while also having the pressure to call out new rear guards to the field to make use of, making for quite a scary card altogether, especially. And having the Excel gift marker as well, being able to call the additional circles is the overall pressure this deck is meant to do. You can get more than 5 rear guards into the soul to call out the same number of cards from the top of your deck onto the field to reuse as well. And then for the backup grade 3, I'm running 3 full Cavalier Dragon. On Vanguard or rear, once per turn, you can Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck, call it to rear, and one of your Vanguard gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So just more pressure with this card being just a Soul Blast, while Agravain's ability is a Counter Blast, making sure you don't use up too many resources for the Soul Blast as well with this card. But you can easily make up for it with Agravain's own ability to put into the Soul. So one Soul Blast just for setting up the field for Agravain to use definitely does make up for it, and also for the fact that full Cavalier Dragon can work on Vanguard or rear, meaning you can put Agravain on your Vanguard circle and then rely on full Cavalier Dragon for the rear guard support for calling rear guards, and then having your Vanguard get the plus 5,000 power as well definitely does come in handy with this card, especially on the additional rear guard circle when it gets the power also for this deck. And also, I run, just for 1 added tech for the grade 3 lineup, 1 Max Slash Dragon. On Vanguard or rear, when it attacks, counterblast 1, call a card from your hand to rear, and this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of battle. So it's just more pressure. It doesn't have the imaginary gift Excel, but I really don't like using it for the Excel gift at all, since it doesn't even have it to begin with, and I never want to ride it on the Vanguard circle. Just having it for that power, if you call it, off of ability, when it attacks, it just gives you another rear guard to potentially call out onto the field to use. Saving it to call out to the Excel marker circle also can be quite useful, because then you'll get the power boost, especially if your opponent gets a trigger or something and you need an extra boosted power to go off of. And that is it for the grade 3s. We'll now move on to the grade 2s. I have 3 Liberator of the Flute Escrad in the deck. When placed, if your Vanguard is Knight of Fury, Agravain, or Liberator of the Flute Escrad, look at the top card of your deck, call it to rear, counterblast 1, and this unit gets plus 5,000 till end of turn. So just an easy ability to call out more rear guards to the field. I have 3 in here, might drop it down to might not drop it, bump it up to 4. Depends if you have the Headon in the deck or not that you wanted to run. Headon and Howell, I believe, definitely do come in handy back and forth, just as assisted cards to use in the deck. But Escrad being able to be used on Vanguard or rear, you usually have to have Agravain on the Vanguard, or just having this card be the ride target as well definitely does come in handy. But since Agravain is the main point of the deck, you most always are able to use this card's ability to call out something something and then have it get +5, meaning if it's a 12k or any kind of grade 2, it should usually put it above 13k power, meaning you can also hit over Imaginary Gift Force units as well with their boosted up power on the field also. And I also run 3 Knight of Hard Work Alienor. With this one on rear, when it attacks, perform all the effects below according to the number of rear guards you called this turn. If you called 2 or more, this unit gets +5,000 until end of that battle. If you called 4 or more, then you may have it get +10,000. If you do, at the end of that battle, put this unit into your soul. So it builds up soul, which is good for the Agravain skill, but also just giving more and more power with how many rear guards you call, which can be a good number, especially when you just call out all the different ones with Agravain out onto the field, making Alienor that much more useful. It's a rear guard only effect, so remember that when using it, but still, like I said, with all the cards that go into the soul, for the build up with this card, it's especially useful after you use the Agravain skill to call out more and more cards. And I honestly can't remember the difference. I think Headon is the grade 2. Sadly, I didn't have any Headon to put into the deck. I have the 4 Player of the Holy Bow, Vivian. This would be taken out for Headon, and I'll show what I would take out for Howell for the grade 1 spot when we get to it. But I just have it in here for now. When placed from hand, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, look at all 3 cards from the top of your deck, call a card from among them to rear, put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order, and this unit gets +3,000 to end of turn. Just more rear guard consistency. Headon definitely does, I would say, work a little more consistently with Howell in the deck as well, obviously. But overall, just the ability also, when you use it, definitely is a plus compared to Vivian. But this would just be the spot I would take out for Headon if you have it to run in the deck as well. Or I would drop this one down to 3 and put in the 4th copy of a Scrad as well into the grade 2 lineup spots. And that's it for the grade 2s. We'll now move on to the grade 1s. I have 2 Little Battler Tron, which probably would bump up to 4 as well. I'll show what to take out for the additional Tron numbers. 1 place, Counterblast 1. This unit gets +5,000 until end of turn. When an attack hits a Vanguard, if your Vanguard's grade is less than your opponent, look at the top card of your deck and call it to rear. It's just more pressure with this card for a Counterblast especially, which I don't always use depending. I use it more for the when an attack hits a Vanguard pressure. But if I need to get over my Vanguard for the attack, when an attack hits a Vanguard, if your Vanguard's grade is less than your opponent, then you'll obviously need to use the Counterblast to at least hit over them without having to luck or, risk gambling on a trigger if you could potentially get it or not for this card. But like I said, definitely would want to run 4. It's probably the best grade 1 ride target we have, especially when going second. So remember that for your opponent, especially for the attack as well against them. 4 also that I definitely do love running in the deck just for the hand consistency is Listener of Truth, Dindrane. When placed by your card's ability, Soul Blast 1 and draw a card, or Counter Charge 1, and this unit gets +3,000 until end of turn. So it just gives you the draw a card or the Counter Charge option with Dindrane. The 7,000 power isn't really that big of an effect because you'll get the +3 as well with this card most of the time, and also if you go for the counter charge, but most of the time the draw power alone makes up for it. Just when placed by your card's ability, which can happen very, very easily with Agravain being able to call a lot of different units out onto the field also. So for Dindrane, I would say is definitely staple. And for the spot that would fill in if I had Howell, I would take out the 4 Knight of Elegant Skills Gareth for the Howell spot. On rearguard when placed by one of your card's abilities, Counterblast 1, and this unit gets +10,000 to end of turn. It just works a whole lot better with Headon in the deck altogether. But the Gareth is just more pressure for the call with the cards. So just relying on that for that play also. And I also run 2 Knight of Virtuous Intellect, Gunnhild on rear or guard. If your hand has 1 or less cards, this unit gets +5,000, +5 shield, and it can intercept, and you can intercept from the back row. It's just another shield option with this one. Having 10k shield already, being able to intercept from the back row is just more protection for your cards on the field to rely on. So just very, very handy for that as well. And I also run 2 Knight of Resolution, Beth Hawke. This unit gets the effects of all below, depending on how many rear guards you called this turn. If you call 2 or more, it gets +5,000, which can easily just bump it up to a 10k booster at that. If it's 4 or more, this unit does not rest when it boosts. So being able to keep it on the its field just to boost more and more for your attacks is what I really like about Beth Hawke as well in the deck. And I also just run the 1 of the Knight of Sound Health, Candagius, I believe is how I pronounce the name. When it boosts, if your Vanguard is Knight of Fury Agravain, perform all the effects below according to the number of rear guards you called this turn. 2 or more, the boosted unit gets plus 3,000. 4 or more, the boosted unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So just getting all the effects below, just for an added boost, adds a little more power. Just a one-of tech that I like to run in the deck as well. And that's it for the grade 1s. For the grade 0s, your starter, I like to go with the Spring Breeze Messenger. I feel like the other starter is more for Ezel, while this one definitely does fit Agravain a little more with the Rabbit series. And then for the trigger lineup, I'm running, I decided to try out the Rainbow with just the pressure we can have in the deck. 4 Knight of Forceful Fights 9s, 4 Knight of Blue Skies Shanok, and then for the heal trigger, running the Elixir Samiel, which is the heal trigger for the Gold Paladin all together, and then also the 4 Halo Shield Mark, just for the draw trigger Perfect Guard to keep the grade 1 spot open. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely look forward to, we have Bermuda Triangle sneak preview this week, so definitely going to be fun for sure to work on those decks from that set as well. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.